Welcome back. Today we're diving into 197 Communications Limited, the parent company of the well-known brand Paytm. This one's always interesting given their diverse operations.
Absolutely. Paytm is a major player in India's digital ecosystem, primarily known for its payment services. But they also have significant interests in financial services distribution and commerce and cloud services. Headquartered in Noida, they're a company many of us interact with regularly.
Indeed. So it looks like they've just released their audited financial results for the fourth quarter and the full financial year ended March 31st, 2025. The board of directors approved these results on May 6, 2025. We'll be looking at both the consolidated and standalone figures today. Where should we start?
Let's kick off with the consolidated numbers for the fourth quarter of financial year 2025. That's the quarter ended March 31st, 2025. Starting with revenue from operations for Q4 FY25, it stood at 1,911 crore rupees. Comparing this year over year to Q4 FY24, where it was 2,267 crore rupees, that's a decrease of about 15.7%. Now, looking at it quarter over quarter against Q3 FY25, where revenue was 1,828 crore rupees, we see a growth of 4.5% sequentially.
Okay, so a year-over-year decline but a quarter-over-quarter improvement in consolidated revenue. What about their profitability? Let's talk about EBITDA. I know Paytm often highlights EBITDA before ESOP costs.
Yes, they do. For consolidated EBITDA before ESOP cost, in Q4 FY25, this came in at a positive 81 crore rupees. Year over year, this is down from 102 crore rupees in Q4 FY24, a fall of about 20.6%. However, quarter over quarter, it's a significant turnaround from a loss of 41 crore rupees in Q3 FY25. So operationally before ESOPs, they've swung to a profit sequentially. The audited financials also show a similar figure for EBITDA before share-based payment expenses.
That sequential improvement in operational profitability is noteworthy. Now let's look at the bottom line, profit before tax and profit after tax on a consolidated basis.
Right. For consolidated profit before tax, PBT, which is actually a loss before tax, in Q4 FY25, the loss was 542 crore rupees. Year over year, this is slightly wider than the loss of 536.4 crore rupees in Q4 FY24, an increase in loss by about 1%. Quarter over quarter, the loss has widened significantly from 203.5 crore rupees in Q3 FY25. This is largely due to exceptional items we'll discuss. Moving to consolidated profit after tax, PAT, which is loss for the period attributable to owners. For Q4 FY25, the loss was 539.8 crore rupees. Year over year, this is a slight improvement as the loss was 549.6 crore rupees in Q4 FY24. So the loss narrowed by about 1.8%. But quarter over quarter, similar to PBT, the loss widened from 208.3 crore rupees in Q3 FY25.
So the net loss widened sequentially, but narrowed slightly year on year. What does this translate to in terms of earnings per share or EPS for consolidated results?
For consolidated EPS, basic and diluted, in Q4 FY25, the loss per share was 8.47 rupees. Year over year, this is a reduction in loss per share from 8.65 rupees in Q4 FY24. Quarter over quarter, the loss per share has increased from 3.27 rupees in Q3 FY25.
And did other income play a significant role in the consolidated numbers this quarter?
Yes, it did. Consolidated other income for Q4 FY25 was 223.8 crore rupees. Year over year, this is up substantially by about 70% from 131.7 crore rupees in Q4 FY24. Quarter over quarter, it also saw a healthy increase of 18.6% from 188.7 crore rupees in Q3 FY25.
That's a good jump in other income. Before we move to standalone, how did the full year consolidated numbers look for FY25 compared to FY24?
For the full financial year FY25, consolidated revenue from operations was 6,900 crore rupees, down about 30.8% from 9,978 crore rupees in FY24. EBITDA before ESOP cost for FY25 was a loss of 691 crore rupees, widening from a loss of 559 crore rupees in FY24. However, the consolidated loss before tax for FY25 narrowed to 645.2 crore rupees from 1,390.4 crore rupees in FY24. And the consolidated loss after tax also narrowed significantly to 658.7 crore rupees in FY25 from 1,417 crore rupees in FY24. Consequently, the EPS for FY25 showed a reduced loss of 10.35 rupees per share compared to a loss of 22.33 rupees in FY24. The narrowing of net losses for the full year was significantly aided by exceptional gains.
Thanks for that annual overview. Now, let's shift our focus to the standalone financials for Q4 FY25. How does the revenue look there?
For standalone revenue from operations in Q4 FY25, it stood at 1,599.3 crore rupees. Year over year, this is a decrease of about 5.8% from 1,698 crore rupees in Q4 FY24. Quarter over quarter, however, there's a sequential growth of 7.2% from 1,491.6 crore rupees in Q3 FY25.
Similar pattern to consolidated revenue, year-over-year dip but quarter-over-quarter growth. What about an EBITDA equivalent or pre-exceptional profitability on the standalone side?
The standalone P&L doesn't provide an EBITDA before ESOP in the same way. However, we can look at the standalone loss before exceptional items and tax. For Q4 FY25, this was 50.8 crore rupees. Year over year, this is a significant narrowing of the loss from 356.7 crore rupees in Q4 FY24. Quarter over quarter, it also shows a much narrower loss compared to 205.3 crore rupees in Q3 FY25. So, underlying operational performance before exceptional items has improved on the standalone front both year over year and quarter over quarter.
That's a positive sign for underlying standalone operations. How does this flow down to standalone profit before tax and profit after tax for Q4?
For standalone profit before tax, PBT, which is a loss before tax, in Q4 FY25, the loss was 580.5 crore rupees. Year over year, this loss has widened by about 2.5% from 566.3 crore rupees in Q4 FY24. Quarter over quarter, the loss also widened considerably from 205.3 crore rupees in Q3 FY25, again influenced by exceptional items. For standalone profit after tax, PAT, which is loss for the period as there was no tax, the figures are the same as PBT. So, a loss of 580.5 crore rupees in Q4 FY25. Year over year, this is a 2.5% increase in loss from Q4 FY24. Quarter over quarter, the loss widened from Q3 FY25.
And the standalone earnings per share for Q4?
Standalone EPS, basic and diluted for Q4 FY25, was a loss of 9.10 rupees per share. Year over year, the loss per share increased from 8.92 rupees in Q4 FY24. Quarter over quarter, the loss per share also increased from 3.22 rupees in Q3 FY25.
How did other income look on the standalone side for Q4?
Standalone other income for Q4 FY25 was 180.4 crore rupees. Year over year, this was up by 43.5% from 125.7 crore rupees in Q4 FY24. Quarter over quarter, it increased by 6.9% from 168.7 crore rupees in Q3 FY25.
And for the full year FY25 on a standalone basis?
For FY25, standalone revenue from operations was 5,504.8 crore rupees, down 28.1% from FY24. The standalone loss before tax narrowed to 789 crore rupees from 1,476.2 crore rupees in FY24. And the standalone loss after tax mirrored this, also narrowing to 789 crore rupees. The standalone EPS for FY25 showed a reduced loss of 12.39 rupees per share compared to a loss of 23.26 rupees in FY24.
It seems exceptional items are playing a big role in the PBT and PAT movements for Q4 for both consolidated and standalone. Can you elaborate on these?
You're absolutely right. On the consolidated side for Q4 FY25, there was a net exceptional charge of 522.1 crore rupees. The presentation and financial notes detail this primarily as a 492.4 crore rupees one-time non-cash acceleration of ESOP expense related to the founder and CEO foregoing his ESOPs, and about 29.7 crore rupees in impairments of goodwill and optionally convertible debentures. For the full year FY25 consolidated, however, exceptional items resulted in a net gain of 823.3 crore rupees. This includes the ESOP charge and impairments, but was more than offset by a significant gain of 1,345.4 crore rupees from the sale of their entertainment ticketing business. On the standalone side for Q4 FY25, exceptional items amounted to a charge of 529.7 crore rupees. This also includes the 492.4 crore rupees ESOP acceleration charge, plus about 17.7 crore rupees for impairment of investments in subsidiaries and 19.6 crore rupees for impairment of optionally convertible debentures. For the full year FY25 standalone, exceptional items resulted in a net gain of 728.4 crore rupees, driven by a gain of 1,258.1 crore rupees from the sale of business, partially offset by the ESOP charge and impairments.
That ESOP acceleration is a big non-cash hit in Q4. So the underlying operational profitability, especially EBITDA before ESOP, shows a better picture sequentially. What about profitability margins?
Looking at the consolidated EBITDA before ESOP margin for Q4 FY25, it was about 4.2%, 81 crore rupees on 1,911 crore rupees revenue. This is an improvement from negative 2.2% in Q3 FY25, but down from 4.5% in Q4 FY24. If we consider the consolidated net loss margin for Q4 FY25, it's about 28.2%, loss of 539.8 crore rupees on revenue of 1,911 crore rupees. This has widened from Q3's 11.4% due to those exceptional ESOP charges.
Any quick insights from the balance sheet?
From the consolidated balance sheet as of March 31, 2025, total equity stands at 14,997.1 crore rupees, up from 13,298.4 crore rupees a year ago. A key change noted in the financials, Note 6, is the presentation of escrow account balances. Previously, these were netted off against merchant liabilities. Now, they are presented on a gross basis, so bank balances other than cash and cash equivalents are much higher at 9,480.3 crore rupees, up from 2,522.7 crore rupees as restated for March 2024, and correspondingly, other financial liabilities are also higher. The company states their cash balance is 12,809 crore rupees as of March 2025, excluding certain funds.
And cash flow? Any highlights there? This is usually consolidated.
Yes, looking at the consolidated cash flow statement for the full year FY25. Net cash used in operating activities was 121.3 crore rupees, which is a significant improvement from the 650.8 crore rupees generated from operating activities in FY24, though FY24 operating cash flow itself had large working capital swings. Net cash used in investing activities was 2,042.9 crore rupees in FY25, compared to net cash generated of 318 crore rupees in FY24. This FY25 usage includes payments for purchase of current and non-current investments, partially offset by proceeds from sale of investments and sale of business. Net cash used in financing activities was 52.7 crore rupees in FY25. Overall, cash and cash equivalents decreased by 2,216.9 crore rupees during FY25, ending at 2,072.1 crore rupees. It's important to remember the company also holds significant bank deposits and other investments not classified as cash equivalents. The presentation mentions a cash balance of 12,809 crore rupees.
Now let's talk about how different parts of Paytm's business performed. The earnings presentation breaks down revenue. How did those key areas do in Q4 FY25?
Right, the presentation gives us a good breakdown. Let's look at the main revenue streams for Q4 FY25 based on their reported figures in the presentation and summary tables. First, payment services revenue was 1,046 crore rupees. Year over year, this is down from 1,554 crore rupees in Q4 FY24. Quarter over quarter, it's up from 1,003 crore rupees in Q3 FY25. The presentation notes that the net payment margin, including UPI incentive, was 578 crore rupees in Q4 FY25. Second, financial services and others, revenue here was 545 crore rupees. Year over year, this is a strong growth from 304 crore rupees in Q4 FY24. Quarter over quarter, it's also up from 502 crore rupees in Q3 FY25. The company attributes this to a higher share of merchant loans and better collection efficiencies. Third, marketing services revenue was 267 crore rupees. Year over year, this is down from 395 crore rupees in Q4 FY24. Quarter over quarter, it was flat compared to Q3 FY25.
So financial services is showing good growth momentum, while payments saw a year-over-year dip but quarter-over-quarter recovery, and marketing services is a bit subdued. What are some of the significant notes or events from the report that stood out to you beyond the exceptional items?
A few key things. The earnings presentation, page 12, mentions that the founder and CEO, Mr. Rao Vijay Shekhar Sharma, voluntarily forwent all 2.1 crore ESOPs granted to him, leading to that accelerated ESOP expense. This also increased the free reserves of the company, as the entire underlying grant cost was credited back to retained earnings. The company achieved EBITDA before ESOP, excluding UPI incentive, profitability as per their guidance, page 3 of presentation. Merchant subscriber base for devices reached 1.24 crore as of March 2025, an addition of 8 lakh quarter over quarter. The situation with Paytm Payments Bank Limited, PPBL, a 49% associate, is detailed in Note 10. Due to RBI actions and business uncertainties, the company had recorded an impairment of its investment in PPBL amounting to 227.1 crore rupees in Q4 FY24. This effectively wrote down the carrying value. The utilization of IPO proceeds is detailed in Note 9, with 20,000 crore rupees still unutilized as of March 31, 2025, primarily earmarked for new business initiatives and acquisitions.
That PPBL situation was quite significant. Now, a critical part, the auditor's report. What did SR Batley and Associates LLP have to say? Were there any qualifications or major concerns for either the consolidated or standalone results?
The good news first. For both the consolidated and standalone financial results, the auditors, SR Batley and Associates LLP, issued an unmodified opinion. This means that in their view, the financial statements give a true and fair view and comply with accounting standards. However, they did include several emphasis of matter paragraphs in both reports, which, while not qualifying the opinion, draw attention to crucial disclosures made by the management. First, for both consolidated, Note 5, and standalone, Note 5, they highlight a show cause notice, SCN, received from the Directorate of Enforcement, DOE, alleging contraventions of the Foreign Exchange Management Act, FEMA. The aggregate value of contraventions is stated to be approximately 6,111 crore rupees. Management is taking steps to resolve this and has recorded a provision for related compounding fees based on best estimates. Second, for both consolidated Note 11B and standalone Note 6, they point to an SCN received by First Games Limited, a joint venture of the company, from GST authorities. This SCN proposes a GST liability of 5,712 crore rupees plus penalties. The JV is contesting this demand and believes it has a strong case. Third, specifically in the consolidated report, Note 11A, there's an emphasis of matter regarding Paytm Payment Services Limited's, a subsidiary, application for a payment aggregator (PA) license, which is still under process with the Reserve Bank of India. The company continues its online payment aggregation business, except for onboarding new merchants, as per RBI's earlier communication. Fourth, for both consolidated Note 6 and standalone Note 7, they draw attention to the restatement of previous year's cash balances held in escrow accounts. These were previously disclosed net of merchant liabilities but are now presented on a gross basis, increasing both assets, bank balances, and liabilities.
So an unmodified opinion is positive, but those emphasis of matter paragraphs highlight some significant regulatory and contingent liability issues that investors definitely need to keep an eye on. Given all this, what's your take on the overall performance and outlook for Paytm?
Operationally, Q4 FY25 showed some resilience, especially with the sequential improvement in revenue and EBITDA before ESOP costs on a consolidated basis. The financial services segment is a bright spot with strong growth. The company has also focused on cost reduction, as seen in lower indirect costs. For the full year FY25, while reported revenue declined, partly due to the sale of the ticketing business and disruptions, the net loss narrowed considerably, aided by exceptional gains and improved operational metrics excluding ESOPs in the latter part of the year. The key focus areas mentioned by the company, merchant payments, consumer acquisition, international business, long-term and expanding high-margin financial services, will be crucial for future growth. However, the risks are clear from the emphasis of matter paragraphs. The ongoing FEMA issue, the large GST demand on their JV, and the PA license process are uncertainties. The competitive intensity in the digital payments and financial services space also remains high. Disclaimer: as always, this is just our analysis of the results, and listeners should consult with certified financial experts before making any investment decisions.
That's a comprehensive overview. So to summarize, Paytm's Q4 showed sequential operational improvement with positive EBITDA before ESOP costs. Financial services are growing well. However, exceptional ESOP charges impacted the Q4 bottom line. The full year saw narrower net losses due to exceptional gains. The auditors gave a clean opinion but highlighted significant regulatory matters and contingent liabilities.
Precisely. It's a mixed bag with positive operational trends emerging, but with notable external risks and past accounting adjustments to consider. The path to sustained clean profitability will be keenly watched.
Thanks for those sharp insights. And thank you all for tuning in. Don't forget to subscribe for more earnings breakdowns.